trash. But as you just said, as you rightfully said, not everybody operates like that. Like I know a specific woman that I know. This person would take positions on like racism or black people rights. It's almost like a leftist. She doesn't claim herself to be a leftist, but she's a centrist, center left person.
Right.
But I think she has a lot of left leaning ideas, whatever. This person she's white. So she's like, has a lot of ideas about black people and has been around black people, but it's just not, we're not a monolith. It's not, we're not all the same. So, and she's like, has these positions, popular positions in the political world. So I show her stuff like Tom Sowell. Like, hey, see this idea, see this concept, see what he's talking about. Like, this relates to this, this, and this. And she's like, okay, I understand what he's saying. And then the conversation goes again. And I'm like, well, you still hold the same positions. You
new information now.
Yeah. And that's the thing. She has the same positions with the new information that she said she understood. But she's like, right. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to operate on the new knowledge, integrate this knowledge. And she just could not understand. She's like, but what am I supposed to do? Yeah, I saw it. I understood it, but it doesn't mean that I agree with it.
Ding, ding, ding. It's like, I don't trust this person. I'm like, you can get to a point where you trust them. But if you understood what he was saying, then the things he said should have related to the experiences you have. You've not had any of the experiences. That's a different conversation. And you can just say that. You're like, I get where he's coming from, but I don't relate. I'm like, okay, well, you need to get evidence of your own. Cool. Do some research. That's fine. We can have this conversation later.
But that's not the goal. This is not their goal. Knowledge is not their goal.
They don't have that at all. That is certainly, anyway. I am only saying it how I would approach it. I'm very clear that has not been the trend or the common response.
So, as I told you last week, I'm listening to this book. I'm almost done. The Goddess of the Right, or I think the Goddess of the Market. It's like the biography of Ayn Rand. And this was one of the things. She's getting to the latter parts, and she's like, Rand misunderstood or was confused that because somebody understood her arguments, that they agreed with her arguments, right? And the interesting thing is like, and I'm just witnessing in the conversation that we just had, and I'm me recounting these things like, I probably do this too. And I know somebody has told me that this is not a thing. And I'm thinking like, no, because their goal is not knowledge. My goal is knowledge. My goal is to know and understand. If I understand and I'm trying to do something, I'm thinking about it, I'm integrating my knowledge once I understand. The reason why they can hold contradictions is because they don't care.
It's not valuable to them.
Wow.
Right?
Blows my mind.
It's funny to hear people say or live out a way that where it's like it does not matter for their ideas to be integrated. They don't need their model of the world to make sense or to agree with anything. They're just like, nope. This is a model I pick up sometimes, and I put it down. This is a model I pick up sometimes, and I put it down. I'm like, but those aren't in line with reality. How do you rectify that? Oh, I do not. I just pick up things, and I use them, and I put them down. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. The end. Yeah. Like, you're never going to get better. Well, I don't want to get better.
No.
I want to do what everybody else is doing and use the model that's working for them. We're all going to use this model that works, or the model that doesn't work. We're all just going to use it because you know what? We're all going to understand where each other is coming from. And as long as I have the mass of humanity around me, I'll feel safe. But you won't be safe, but I'll feel it. All right. That is your experience on Earth. Fine. You can feel a certain way if you like, at the expense of actual knowledge and outcomes and benefits. But okay, it's a different value set, man.
Go ahead.
That's it. I can't. It's hard for me to think about and talk about in a way that is unbiased or, all I have are negative things to say about it. It's like, come on.
Here's the thing, man. I don't have that perspective, I don't think, right? Good. I think my perspective is, if you ever seen the Muppets Take Manhattan, and Pete would just be like, people's is people's.
It's true. But anyway, because they are people, that means I can't pretend that we are the same. I can't trust what they say like I trust what I say. I can't consider the things that they're doing to be judged on the standard of being the most beneficial things possible. I'm like, okay.
But okay, what I would say to you is that there are two types of things, I would say. One thing that doesn't matter and one thing that does. For the things that don't matter, that's your fault. If you get upset about something that doesn't matter to you, that's your fault. And that would be my fault, you know. But
Right?
as we're talking, I'm thinking about how these weird and invalid means or concepts or ideas can affect me. And I just think about like from a man's standpoint, like even look at the concept of, I don't know, can you say the R word?
You can use the explanation of it. That's
An assault, you know, a sexual assault, right? I've met a woman before who felt it was her responsibility or duty to sit and talk to a man who buys her a drink at the bar. And this leads me to the concept of some people, maybe women in general, may feel a duty or responsibility to go home with somebody or even to have sex with somebody.
Right. Reciprocity exists.
The point I'm trying to get to is that a person can make a decision and an action and then claim that I was coerced. And if we don't have this whole specific, hey, you make decisions and this is coercion and this is not coercion, then you're putting a lot of people in bad situations where somebody's making a choice and the other person is just going along for the ride. And then they're just like, hey, I went for that ride, but I didn't like it. So now I want somebody to pay for that ride that I don't think that I liked before.
That describes, not cancel culture, but all the sensitive, oversensitivity that we have today. That is a perfect way to describe it.
In what sense? Like, you mean the oversensitive?
The idea that this person who said this thing that I interpreted as terrible, this person is bad, and I don't want to feel bad. Therefore, they have committed violence against me. I feel it. I feel the same way you would if you had committed violence against me, and therefore violence has been committed. It's not your intent that matters. It's how I receive it, interpret it, and experience it.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh no, it's not true at all. It does matter someone's intent, and it does matter what they actually do. I just don't equate the two. They're not the same. They do exist. They're just not the same.
True. But in the kind of culture that we have, we'll never reconcile this difference.
Well, we don't. The people with power aren't holding a strong standard and holding people accountable for their decisions. And because of that, then we can't rectify it, because the people whose job it is to rectify it aren't maintaining order. Like that's the purpose of societal norms and strong influential leadership. I'm like, we don't have that, so we're not gonna get it.
Once again, though, we come down to, like, I'm fundamentals, the baby step piece.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not holding people accountable for decisions. But as a culture, are we bought in on decision making? That's what I mean about, see, like this, like the content thing coming up again.
Right.
Do we have free will, or is it just this fuzzy thing, like, you know, are some people making judgments? Oh, these people over here, they can't make judgments. We do that with children. That's below a certain age.
Right.
We do that with people who may have certain mental incapacity or whatever.
Right.
But am I supposed to just say, we have not raised a regular person to become a good wielder of judgment? So now I can't in good faith interact with you because there's no, I'm making judgments, you're making judgments, and we're both equal adults here. There's me doing stuff and saying stuff, and you're like, either I'm going to go along or I'm not going to go along. And if you don't like the outcome, then it's like, well, something's been done to me. Because you know, and that's just weird.
They don't think critically, then we're not two equals on the same ground here. Anyway, we're not two equals at all. And because of that we technically don't have the same, I don't want to say choices because that's not true, but we don't perceive the same choices, I'll say. And then we do have this quote unquote confusion.
They don't perceive choice.
There you go.
That's why in the book, one of the themes is choice defines perspective. If you're a determinist, if you think that, you know, people don't have free will, you see a whole different world than I see. My whole world is determined by choice and free will. That's the whole thing.
That's the point. That's the actual part that moves the world. That is the part of being human.
It's the whole thing at its core.
Mm-hmm.
So with that confusion right there, man, that's to me is why I like to talk about fundamentals. Because how can we fix something if we don't even have the foundation set?